I was in the middle of debating Charlie Kirk in the middle of the assassination at Utah Valley University.
Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
Hello, everyone. It's me, Bobby Bones. I wanted to pay tribute to Charlie Kirk. I wanted to go over my feelings, what I think about it, what I think about the reactions, what I think about his career and just him as a person. So, I wanted to pay tribute to his short life of just 31 years young. And, it has to be said that this man has produced more value for the planet than most people at 31 years of age, right? And it's because, whether if you agree with him or not, because of the amount of value that he put out in the world, he was able to create such a massive company. A company I didn't even realize how big it was until after his passing. Like, I'd never seen, his buildings or his his whole thing. Like, he's got it was a whole compound, right? And that's only what I see right now from the outside. It's not even all the other stuff that you don't see that he has created in 31 short years. And out of everything that he created, the most beautiful thing and the most valuable thing that he created was his family. His lovely wife and 2 children. And, as I'm doing stuff, I know what it's like to lose somebody to gun violence. I lost my brother a few years ago to gun violence, and one of the hardest things is going back in the home and seeing your brother's stuff just sitting there. You don't want to touch it, but you have to go through that process when somebody is just stolen from you. Charlie was stolen from his wife and kids. And the thing that really gets me about the whole thing is the fact that the guy, whoever did it, right? Because right now they caught this guy and, it's allegedly. And, we have to see all the evidence and see how this all plays out. Because with the government, you have to question everything, right? You just have to. But the person who shot Mr. Kirk didn't even have the balls to face him, right? Like, Charlie's there defenseless, willing to debate anybody. Like, if you don't like what Charlie's saying, right, you can change the channel, right? You don't have to watch him, right? Nobody's forcing you to watch Charlie Kirk. Nobody forces you, right? Like, and if you think you know better than him, right? You have a better argument, then formulate your argument, right? And bring it to him and see if you can stump him. I've watched Charlie, right, over the years. Now, I got to admit, am I some super fan? No. Am I somebody that watched his every move? Absolutely not. Did I catch him every so often when he would do a news appearance? Yes. If he did a special, I'd probably catch it. Like, one of the last big specials that he did was he hosted a debate, right? And another special that I watched him do was Jubilee, right? And, he's debating socialists and he's debating Democrats. And Charlie did not disrespect people for having a difference of opinion, right? And I can relate to that. Like, I have a lot of friends who are Democrats, right? And I have a lot of friends who are MAGA, Republicans. And, I have a bit of Charlie in me as far as going out and like trying to get both sides to talk and like have those conversations, right? I don't call people names, right? I don't think it's right to do that. It's disrespectful, right? And I try to find common ground with people that disagree with me, right? And a lot of times when I'm doing that, you'll have the far left get mad at me, right? Because they believe you have to sing a certain song, and if you don't sing their song, right, they cast you out. And then you have the right, MAGA, where if I don't sing everything that they want, right, then they'll cast you out as well, right, rather than even hear your argument out, right? But it's the people in the middle of those two groups, right, the center right and the center left, that agree on most things, right? And they're willing to have like civil debates, right, with each other. And that's what Charlie was. And the thing I cannot stand is the fact that somebody plucked him off from 200 yards away, and he didn't even have the balls to stand there and say, hey, I did it and this is why. At least Charlie, right, when he faced you, right, he didn't run from the argument. Even if you got the best of him, right, he sat there and took it, right, like a man. That's what a man does, right? A man defends his family, right, defends his children, right, stands up for what he believes in. And I certainly did not agree with everything Charlie Kirk believed in. But that doesn't mean I wouldn't hear him out. That doesn't mean that he's evil or bad because I disagree with him, right? I feel like we have to get past that. Is there evil in the world? Yes, absolutely. But having a disagreement don't make you evil, right? It just means that you think about something differently. And maybe your life experience has brought you there to what you believe today. Everybody has their own journey, right? And so people have different education levels, different experiences, right? Different people around them. People approach things differently. So for me, it makes more sense to come from a more understanding point of view than just such a rigid view, right? One issue voters, right? Where if somebody thinks differently than you want to hurt them. Like, what is that? I didn't grow up with that, right? And if I was going to fight somebody, and I've been in plenty of fights, you know, going through junior high school, mainly junior high school, right? You know, male testosterone and all this going on. You know, we put our dukes up. You know, we start fighting. And at the end of the fight, like, we shook hands and like, all right, bro, yeah, I'll see you tomorrow or something, right? It was like we were able to even have a fight and like get on with your day, right? Get on with your life. Today's not like that. It's like today people are being fed with so, like, I look at the internet and there's so many bots out there and like really, truly people making money off of division, dividing people. And these kids on both extremes are being just constantly drilled and fed with garbage, right? Getting them all propped up and hyped up, right? Getting them angry. You got to get angry. And it's, you know, all of this, you know, and we're going to get retribution. And, you know, it's Civil War. And these kids get all tuned up. They're on pills. They're on this. They're on that, right? Some of them can't even get a girlfriend, right? They don't even know how to talk to a girl. A lot of them, okay? Many of these kids come from a broken family. Mind you, this kid doesn't come from a broken family. I don't know if we're going to get the full backstory with this kid. I'm presuming if he even makes it to trial, right? Like, we still don't even know hardly anything about Trump's attempted assassin, right? We know nothing about that guy. My fear with this guy that they caught is that they're going to pull an Epstein in the 1 or 2 minutes that the film goes out, right? The video goes out. And next thing you know, he's unalived during those 2 minutes, and nobody's ever going to know what happened, and and you understand where I'm going with that, right? That's my fear with that, okay? And there are dark corners out there. And I don't know who this kid worked with, right? Who did this kid work with? Was it somebody in the government? Was it a private organization? You know, we don't know the trail yet. Apparently he's got no internet presence, so I don't even understand that at 22. How can that be, right? So there's a lot of unanswered questions, but I just don't like the feeling that somebody, because of a difference of opinion, can pick you off from 200 yards away and remove you from the world. And then, talking about the reaction, right? Then you have these complete narcissistic, mentally ill pricks, absolute pieces of trash, sitting there celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. Like, they're out there like with clips, like celebrating his death, right? And it makes me think, like, okay, maybe me and Charlie might agree on, I don't know, 70 to 80% of, the issues. We probably agree a lot, right? Being he's a conservative, I'm a libertarian, right? Obviously, there's a lot of crossover there. Should I walk outside scared now when I'm going to go out and do special events? Because I'm going to do special events, right? I want to get out there and talk to the people. I don't want to be just stuck in a studio, right? I want to do both. But I definitely want to get out there. And now, my family has to worry about, hey, what if there's some nut, from 200 yards away, 300 yards away? And he doesn't even have the balls to look you in the eye. At least if you're going to do it, you look the man in the eye. You don't be a coward like Mangione shooting at healthcare CEO in the back like a complete freak, right? You don't do that, right? You at least honor the man with, you at least attack him with honor, right? That part bothered me so much because I can't stand that about people. How absolutely spineless they are. First off, you do that to somebody unarmed? It's ridiculous, right? And like, that person, that 22-year-old, he not only destroyed Kirk's life, Kirk's wife, that whole family, he destroyed that family, right? Now, of course, the wife and kids are going to, they're going to survive. They're going to, I have a feeling they're going to flourish, right? It'll never be the same. I don't care what facade they put out. That family will never be the same. I could tell you that from experience. The gunman's family will never be the same. Apparently came from an upper middle class family, loving family. Their family is destroyed now. Why? Because you couldn't use words? You couldn't act civil? You couldn't control yourself? Because as you say, he lied? Just because we believe something differently don't make it a lie. Right? It doesn't. Truth is truth. And I don't agree with people who tell part truths. I hate that. That's why I started this channel. Right? Is to give information that you're not going to get out there on the big networks. And to be honest with you, a lot of influencers will give you just a part of the story that advances their agenda. My agenda is to preach liberty, individual freedom, right? Free markets, right? I don't like the government stealing from you to give it to other people, right? These are things that I believe in, right? And I should not be in fear because I have those beliefs, right? Just like maybe you believe in abortion, right? You should not lose your life because of that. So I wanted to bring that up. And another thing that just absolutely I was thinking about was how Charlie got started. When I first heard of Charlie Kirk was around 2012. And, like the Tea Party was in full swing. Barack Obama was president. And I remember watching him like debate high school kids or something. Like, it was like, I don't even know how he got in my feed, but he did. And I was like, wow, listen to the chops on this kid. Like, he was, boom, boom, boom. Just so sharp. And I said, when I first seen him, I said, that kid's going far. I knew it. I said, he's going somewhere. And to be perfectly honest, there's envy and jealousy in me. I at that time in my career, I wish I could have, given up my businesses that I was working on and been able to just go out there and do that. I thought it was so cool. He's going out there and debating these people, and he had a very libertarian way about him, and a very elegant way of speaking. And he would raise people's awareness to certain issues. Life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, the fact that no matter where you start, you can make it in America. And boy, was he a symbol of that. You might not agree with the man, but he was definitely a symbol of the American dream. And so I wanted to pay respect to Mr. Kirk and his family. I donated to Turning Point. I sent an email over there offering my services for charity. I'm willing to help bridge this new place that they're going, right? I don't know if I'm sure they've got who knows how many emails to get through. And like I said, chances of them contacting me back, probably not going to happen. But I felt like I should throw my hat in the ring because I feel like I have something to offer to help the wife and kids. And although I do not agree with everything about Turning Point or Charlie Kirk, I felt like it is a part of who I am and how I was raised to help those in need. And right now, looking at those babies, how can somebody look at those babies and be joyful that they're now orphans? How is that? How the hell did we get here? How did we get here that now those kids are orphans? I pray for the Kirk family. I pray for all those employees, right, that work over there. It's a lot. He built some empire over there. And I pray for all those people. And let's hope that we find out more about this nut, right? And that he doesn't get unalived before the trial, right? Because that's a big possibility, okay? So we want justice for Charlie. We want justice for those kids and that beautiful widow. And I just wanted to just come on and sort of give my thought on the situation. And I don't want to really drone on too long. I just wanted to pay my respects to somebody who I absolutely admire, and just don't let this tragedy shut you up. Go out there, let's have conversations together, let's get together, and even if we don't persuade each other, let's at least shake hands, have a beer, have a drink, whatever you like. Let's just stop calling each other evil and just get along with each other and just stop this nonsense. Stop, canceling people and all of this just toxic stuff that I did not grow up with. Like I said, growing up, I got in a fight. It was me and a good friend Tom Green, right? From the city, we get into a fight. And I remember it, and we got into a really bad fight, and we shook hands afterwards. It was like, all right, man, whatever. We were all scraped up, bloody, whatever. And it was I remember my brother came to me, and he had a brother too, and they wanted to fight. We're like, no, we got it, because that's what you did, right? You had your family's back. But we didn't we didn't take it to that next level. It wasn't we got to just rub that guy out because he offended me or did something I didn't like. No, we don't act like that, and we should reject that sort of behavior. And so, again, I'm just paying my respects. I just wanted to get that off my chest, and I really hope that you enjoyed this special honoring Mr. Charlie Kirk. And God bless, and please be safe. Thank you. Good night.
Today is our 2-year-old's birthday. And I look at my daughter, and that is my why. For those that are parents, you know exactly what I mean.
There is no mountain that stands tall as your faithfulness. There is no river that runs wide as your goodness.
Man, Charlie, I remember when we were starting these out, and
It was like that.
it was like this. It was like your average
First 3 rows.
It was like your average political meeting where there was 12 people in a room, and this is awesome.
This, in my personal opinion, was the most over-the-top Trump event that I've ever covered.
This is the #1 boots-on-the-ground operation in the country. We're working directly in harmony with the Trump campaign. It's been vetted, it's been cleared, it's been blessed, as you could see there, and we're going to try to win this thing. No guarantees. It's what we do that matters.
Mr. President, I can tell you this room is 100% with you, and we have your back. God bless you. We really do. Thank you.